Friday, August 21, 2026. Billboard's Fan Army Face-Off draws to a close, and for the first time since the tournament began in 2014, one fandom stands completely alone at the top. SB19's A'TIN has just defeated Harry Styles Harries in the final round, claiming 70.9% of the vote to the Harries' 29.1%. It's their fourth consecutive championship, a feat no fan army has ever accomplished in the competition's history. Until this year, A'TIN was tied with T-ara's Queens, who won 3 straight titles from 2015 to 2017. Now that tie is broken, and Billboard itself has described A'TIN as the tournament's new record holder for most consecutive wins. Before A'TIN, every single champion in the competition's history had been the fandom of a South Korean act. This year, for the first time, a fandom built around a group from outside Korea stands alone at the top. The question isn't whether A'TIN can win once. They've already proven that 3 times over before this year even began. The real question is how one fandom kept winning year after year, against a different set of some of the biggest names in music each time. Each summer, Billboard invites 64 artists into a bracket-style tournament, running since 2014 with the exception of 2019 and 2021. Fans vote in head-to-head rounds over several weeks, and whichever fandom generates the most sustained support advances to the next round. It isn't a measure of album sales, streaming totals, or chart positions. It's a test of something narrower and in some ways harder to fake. Can a fan base keep showing up, round after round, week after week, without losing momentum? A'TIN's streak began in 2023, when SB19's fans defeated 17's CARATs to win the competition for the first time. It was a breakthrough. A'TIN became the first fandom built around a Filipino group to claim the title, and the first winning fandom in the tournament's history that didn't belong to a South Korean act. Every previous champion, including Big Bang's VIPs, T-ara's Queens, Super Junior's Lawless, and Stray Kids' Stell, had come out of Korea's idol industry. One win can be a moment. It doesn't yet tell you anything about what comes next. In 2024, A'TIN returned and won again, moving past the fandoms of SZA, Karol G, Lana Del Rey, Dua Lipa, and Taylor Swift's Swifties before defeating Rihanna's Navy in the final. A second consecutive title changed the conversation. This wasn't a single surge of support that happened to land at the right moment. It was a fandom that could organize itself twice in a row, against a bracket that only got harder. Then came 2025. A'TIN faced Selena Gomez's Selenators in the final and won with 60% of the vote, a third straight championship that pulled them level with T-ara's Queens for the most wins in Fan Army Face-Off history. By the time 2026 began, the stakes had changed completely. A'TIN was no longer defending a title. They were chasing a record nobody had ever broken. The 2026 tournament opened on July 15th with 64 fandoms competing across pop, hip-hop, R&B, K-pop, and P-pop. A'TIN's path to the final ran through the fan armies of Hilary Duff, Megan Thee Stallion, and Melanie Martinez in the opening rounds, then Zara Larsson's fans in the quarterfinals, and Benson Boone's fans in the semifinals. Each round demanded the same thing from A'TIN: sustained voting, week after week, without a single lapse in a 64-artist field that included names like Bad Bunny, Bruno Mars, and Olivia Rodrigo. That left one matchup standing between A'TIN and history: Harry Styles Harries, one of the most established fan armies in the competition. The final round ran from August 17th to August 21st. When voting closed, A'TIN had claimed a decisive 70.9%, a margin that ended any tie with T-ara's Queens for good and left A'TIN standing alone at the top of the tournament's history. So how does one fandom keep winning year after year, against a completely different opponent each time? Billboard hasn't published an official explanation for A'TIN's success, so any answer here is analysis, not confirmed fact. But the pattern across 4 tournaments points toward a few plausible, contributing factors. A'TIN has now competed in this exact format 4 times, which means the fandom carries more accumulated experience with the tournament's mechanics and pacing than most first-time entrants would. SB19's fanbase is also international by necessity, with much of A'TIN's support spread across time zones that keep voting activity going around the clock rather than concentrated in a single region. And the group's own visibility has grown substantially since 2023, giving the fandom a wider pool of supporters to draw from with each passing year. None of this is a confirmed formula, and Billboard has never suggested any irregularity in how A'TIN won any of its 4 titles. There's no reliable evidence of anything beyond ordinary fan mobilization behind these results, and nothing here should be read as an accusation against any competing fandom either. The available evidence simply suggests that repetition itself became an advantage. A fandom that has already run this exact race 3 times knows how to pace itself for a 4th. What the evidence does support is straightforward. This is a fandom that has proven, for separate times, that it can sustain enough engagement to outlast the field. It's worth being precise about what 4 consecutive wins actually demonstrate and what they don't. The Fan Army Face-Off measures one specific thing: which fandom can mobilize the most consistent voting support inside a single Billboard tournament. That's a real, hard-won achievement. Record-breaking, sustained engagement across 4 separate years doesn't happen by accident, and it says something genuine about how organized and how motivated A'TIN has remained. But it isn't a measurement of global streaming numbers, Billboard Hot 100 performance, or overall worldwide popularity. SB19 hasn't yet landed a song on the Hot 100. Several of the artists A'TIN has defeated along the way already have. The record A'TIN now holds is specific to this competition's history, not a ranking of the world's biggest fandom overall. It doesn't answer questions about chart performance or global commercial reach, and treating it as though it does would overstate what the tournament actually measures. Still, the timing of A'TIN's 4th win lands inside one of the busiest and biggest stretches of SB19's career. Weeks earlier, on July 30th, the group became the first homegrown Filipino act to ever perform at Lollapalooza, taking the stage in Chicago's Grant Park in front of a packed festival crowd. That same week, they released Lawless, a new standalone single, performing it live for the first time during that Lollapalooza set. Not long after, SB19 represented the Philippines again at Summer Sonic in Japan, appearing alongside fellow Filipino acts Binny and Ana Mori. For A'TIN, the Fan Army Face-Off title isn't arriving in isolation. It's landing alongside a run of international milestones that have put SB19 in front of audiences the group has never reached before, carried by a fandom that has now shown, for years running, that it knows how to show up when it matters. That leaves one open question: can A'TIN make it 5? Billboard hasn't confirmed the format or timing of a 2027 competition, and there's no way to know yet whether SB19 will even be nominated again. What's certain is this: for 4 straight years, a fandom that didn't exist in Billboard's winner's circle before 2023 has now rewritten what winning that circle 4 times over actually means. The record is set. Whether it becomes even harder to catch is a story that hasn't been written yet.